Hi there. I have 5 more games I picked out that I'd like to show you this month, um, and I'll be talking over them to point out things that I noticed and decisions I made, so maybe you can learn a few things about sniping. These are all E-liter. This first game on Inkblot is fairly one-sided for the most part, except at the beginning here. We lose the pop, but we take out the Rainmaker pretty quick, even though he teleported. So I'm not really doing much at this point other than just inking lines in the middle to limit their mobility because I can't really see them too well to aim at them to actually get any picks. So I'm just trying to limit their mobility as much as I can, and trying to aim at the top of the boxes on the sides because they do like to sit up there. I hate this block right here, it's always in my way. So someone's going to come up to the right there, and I didn't notice him until he already got splatted, so thank you, teammate. And I accidentally fell down here, but I see that there are 2 enemies down, and the other 2 are off on the left, so I know that if I can just squeeze past them, I can get a good push in. So that was a nice reversal from the beginning, so I'm actually getting momentum now. And also my team is getting even more momentum, taking it to 5 right away. So cleaning up mid a bit, and I want to get right back in there, keep our momentum going. That panic splash down there. So they're going to take Rainmaker to the right. There's not much I can do about that, so I wanted to just sit in their spawn and pick off a few more, but that blaster came out, and I couldn't really do anything against the blaster. So I'll sit up here for a bit. This is a good spot. Both blocks are good spots. Help my ally to the left there. So here you'll see some shots coming on the left. I see that that's a short-range weapon, so I know that if I move forward, he's going to have to follow me. And so I move right up against the Rainmaker shield and pop it. And it's just in range that that was able to take him out. So now my team's going to move ahead and clear the way. I've got 2 up by the podium and 1 right in front of me. Now that bomb's going to slow me down a little bit, but I can get through. So that's another good push. Obviously not getting any points on that, or I think we got 1 point. Or that might have been earlier, I don't remember. But just keeping that Rainmaker in their faces, keep our allies up in their plat. Helps keep the game in our favor. So I'm going to move up to the block here. This block's another good spot, especially because it has a right side peek, that rare right side. I know that guy's weak, so I just did a partial charge on him because my ally was fighting him. Would have liked to have helped out before my ally died, but so I threw that Ink Storm, so I knew I was going to get the pop on that. There's someone off to the left. I didn't quite see where they went, so I'm just going to take it up. I know I'm not going to get far, but sometimes I like to just kind of rush it in as far as I can rather than wait and charge a shot. So I figure with 2 people rushing at me from 2 different sides, if I take the time to charge a shot, one of them's going to get me. So we're starting to lose control of mid a bit, but now they're 3 down, so we can take it back. Good thing about unscoped E-liter is you saw I was looking at mid while charging my shots, and then just kind of quickly flicking over to the left to the shield to release it. That's really useful for awareness, so I can watch one area while shooting another. Another good thing to do while you're charging is opening up your map. And that's another thing. I don't know if I was talking over that, but I heard shots coming from behind me. So that's why I did a quick 180 there and saw the guy coming up behind. So that's something that's very important as an E-liter. You're going to get flanked a lot, So using your ears is because, I mean, usually your eyes are focused in the distance, so you're not going to notice the flank with your eyes, but your ears will help out a lot. A lot of weapons in the game are really noisy, so you'll often be able to hear flanks before they get to you. And you'll see that a little bit in these Canal games with the flanks on the left. They're a bit different because of the tarp that they have to walk across. You're not going to really hear them much until they're right on top of you because they have to walk across that tarp. So I do end up spending more time actually looking down that flank. Now here I saw that one enemy died, I think 2 or 3 died, and the others were out of position, so I went ahead and jumped forward there, put some pressure on. But now the enemies are respawned, they're coming back a little faster than I anticipated. Go over here and help out with that guy, but he's already down. While I'm over here, I decide to flank. Flanking E-Leader is really effective on this map, I find. I'm worried about that slosher. One slosh there, I thought he was going to come cut me off, but he didn't. I guess he didn't see me. But now that Ink Storm allows me to get the splat on that guy with a partial charge. And I don't know where the other one went. But I get behind the cover just in time for that charger, but I didn't notice him go off to the left there. So that was a good call. Good move on his part. So we're pushed up. Tower's going pretty slow, though we have a roller on tower, so I'm going to take over. Get that roller off the tower. Except he dies. There's still one more next to tower. I only got one tap on him, though. The map control is going away a little bit. Sniper has special. There's an Ink Storm there. That Ink Storm's not really doing much though, it's off, like, covering the bridge, which is not a playable area. Don't quite have the range there. So I moved up. I wanted to get that Ink Storm a little bit farther, but it hit the tower instead. So it's going to do a little bit against that slosher, but that's about it. So you see when I'm hiding behind the tower, I do those little quick movements left and right. That kind of helps prevent the enemy sniper from anticipating your movement. I don't like to stand still behind the spire because then they can take the time to aim and find that one pixel that's vulnerable. I like to kind of move in and out of the tower, even if that makes me more vulnerable, just because that kind of jukes them out. Like I peek out to the left a bit there while I'm not fully charged, and then I do a quick peek to the right when I'm fully charged. And sometimes I'll even peek to the right when I'm not fully charged, just to bait their shot. I saw an obvious line there of ink that I could cover. It's always good to look out for those obvious lines to maximize your ink coverage as an E-Leader. That would have been a really nice snipe. That was a nice splashdown. So we have to be careful here. Oh, never mind. Game ended. When you're pushing in like that, you have to be careful that they don't start taking turf. Like I noticed when I was pulling up the map there, I noticed that they were starting taking turf on the left side there. If they had one player taking turf on the left and then the other player stopping the push, if we wipe, then they already have half the map covered and they can quickly take part of our side and get a nice push themselves. So sometimes it's not a good idea to suicide jump just to keep the tower there. Sometimes you want to let it reset and focus more on map control. So here's your standard E-liter on Moray game, except there's no enemy E-liter, so I can do crazy stuff on the wall. That was a really nice suction bomb from the enemy at the beginning. Got my ally off guard. I might have been covering it up from him. So I happened to notice that guy coming up. That was lucky of me. I always like to... Oh, I was gonna put a ink mine there, but I saw someone coming up. Unfortunately, I'm not good at dealing with splashdowns yet. I haven't quite gotten the timing of the iframes yet. So I usually just kind of try to wait until it's done and then get them afterwards, but that's hard because they're always, you know, in their ink afterwards, so they can be wherever. I decided to fight that Rapid Blaster. It was risky because I knew once that first shot landed on me, I was dead. So I just barely was able to finish my charge before I died. If my charge wasn't quite as full, then he would have splatted me before I released it. Put my ink vines down finally, and I need to clean up that wall. I don't know how it got so covered. I think that player was using Ninja Squid or something. But I saw them ink beforehand, so I knew that they wanted to go that direction. So I just sort of assumed that they did. And I saw them peek up a little bit when they went over the lip. The Inkstorm out to cover zone. I should have gone for the splat on the jumper there. I went down because the one on the zone was more immediately threatening to my ally. But unfortunately I missed that shot, and then I lost the opportunity on the jumper. I have a Inkstorm coming, but it's at the end. So they have several players in mid and my allies aren't there, so I'm gonna back up a bit, just in case they decide to take that opportunity to come up on our snipe. I have Inkstorm ready, so I will go in and finish capping our zone. I wasn't quite positioned right for that jumper. I had to try to do a quick stored charge, but... I could have done more there to help prevent my ally from dying. I think I could have stayed behind the wall and peeked around it, but I was worried that he might come up and splat me instead of staying behind against my ally to camp the jump. So I wasted some time getting up on the wall. And that's a harder time aiming when they're to the side of you, rather than if you're facing them directly. I threw the Inkstorm way up high there so that it would cover more on this side. I didn't want it to go very far, so I kind of arced it up so it would land closer to me. It's another good use of ink mines to recover the turf when the enemy uses bombs. They're also very effective in the splat zones. Kind of gotten out of the habit of doing that. I need to work on that. Remembering to put ink mines in the zone. So now I'm down here. I don't really sit down here very much, but it turns out pretty well for me. I got that nice splat again on the guys coming down. It obviously doesn't work when they have an enemy sniper because you're way out in the open with nothing to peek around. But if they don't have a sniper, then it's usually pretty safe to be down here as long as you have an escape route where you can jump out quickly. So I missed that snipe, and that was big because he got a splashdown in the zone and splatted an ally, and then I missed that one. And so now, obviously, I got overrun pretty quickly there. So they have zone and overtime. Both my allies down there died. And now I watched my other ally just kind of dive in there by himself. But he's really good apparently. Kind of gets one of the enemies and holds zone for a while by himself. And even takes that zone with the splashdown. I'm commentating him more than me. And now desperation mode. 3 jump markers in zone. I'm happy. I only got one of them though. The other, my Inkstorm got the other one, and 2 assists. So that was a fun game. It's always fun to play Moray as a sniper with no enemy sniper. So back to Snapper Canal. This game's pretty similar to the last one. I think there is a bit more flanking going on though, so it might be a bit more interesting. I usually go to this spot. Last time I went to the spot on the right, which actually I think is a bit more effective. This time it turned out well because my Splatling went that way. I'm gonna have to spend some time deciding which one I like to take. It might just be on a whim thing. So right off the bat, we're getting a good push with specials out. Let's get another Inkstorm out. Tried to get that Tri-Slosher with the Inkstorm, but I'm wondering if it would have been better to throw the Inkstorm backwards, because I mean, with 2 enemies in front of me and just me alone pushing, I should have known that they would have splatted me and started taking the tower backwards. And then that Inkstorm would have splatted them. I was about to jump off and get that sniper when I saw that roller down there, so quick flick down there to get the roller. And fortunately my ally was next to me to scapegoat that shot from the sniper. I shouldn't have put that mine there. I thought I was safely around the corner, but hey, Tri-Sloshers. So they have a lot of control on the left side, and that's big. It's really hard to push when they have control there, so I'm gonna spend some time inking some turf. Except that brush got there. I almost got him. So now I know that that brush is over there, so I'm frequently checking. I'm actually going to ink the top of that so that they take more time to flank. And now I've got 2 teammates on tower and the 1 roller there, so I use the Inkstorm to help the roller. Now I'm gonna get that spot on the sniper and hop on tower so we can push even farther. I probably didn't need to waste my time with that roller over there. I think my ally had a pretty good handle on him. Tri-Slosher doing a good job stopping the push. So now we're 3 down. Splatling's trying to hold control of the left side. Got the partial charge on that Tri-Slosher, which was good because then he died to the auto bomb. Did not see that roller there. That's a good spot for camping rollers. Noted. I feel like this map has a lot of good roller camping spots. So I see that the sniper's off to the left there, so I'm staying on the right side of the pole. Now he's up there, but then the roller gets me. Can't defend from 2 sides at once. So I'm shooting off to the left a lot because I know that they really like that, this team. so I just kind of want to give them a hard time. I'm not actually trying to land any splat. Well, I sort of am sometimes. And there's one of those flanks. I didn't hear it because they had to walk across the grates, or the tarp. And I jumped up here mostly because my usual spot is covered in enemy ink, and I didn't want to waste time covering over it at the moment. And it gives me a bit more distance against the enemy sniper. The enemy sniper is obviously a splatter scope, I think. Yeah, splatter scope. So any bit of range advantage I can get is really helpful. We have a double ink storm there, which is a bit redundant because they're overlapping a bit too much. But it did help get that ink brush. So we just wiped, and they have quite a bit of map control at this point. So I'm gonna hang back a bit. I do try to get tower, but then as soon as they get a double splat and I see someone coming from the left, the brush there, so I jump out. And so I'm going to use this area here as the last defense, trying to get that tower. I do get the one splat to stop the tower, but there's still two more by tower, and then there's that guy, so I have to run away. And here I just decided to, so I got my special. I aimed it a bit to the left of the tower because I know it turns left here. And I'm just going to try to get on tower and tap shot so that the ink storm can finish him off. I don't know if I actually landed any shots there, but my allies did, and the ink storm did finish them off. So that ended up working out, even though I died right away. Here's another Inkblot game, not as one-sided as the other one. We have two E-leaders. They have a Squiffer. That's going to be important. So starting out in tower control, I like to just kind of shoot right to the sides of the tower and the blocks, just in case anyone's there. I also like to put a mine there because there's a small block that they can get up. So you see we already have one ink storm going. It's on tower. It's probably near the end of its life, and both myself and the Carbon simultaneously threw ink storms. So now we have 3 ink storms going, and they're going forward, so I felt safe enough to actually look behind me to get that blaster, while the ink storms were pressuring anyone else away from the front of me. So that triple ink storm really cleaned up their plat really well. So they would have had a very big disadvantage trying to fight back. Looked like they were all responding though. Trying to get some picks while they're pushing back. I'm gonna get out of this ink storm real quick and heal up. And I went up here mostly because there's enemy ink where I wanted to be. Also, it gave me a nice perch to get that shot, and the ally either finished off the third one, so we're gonna push back a bit. I have my ink storm ready again. Blaster went off to the left, I saw. Not quite sure where he went, and then he comes back. I missed the shot, so I'm not really confident that I can fight him. Until I run away a bit, and I wanted to do a quick 2-shot, so 2 50 damage shots. But he followed me a bit faster than I expected and got a direct. So that was well played on the Blaster's part. Umbrella on tower, that's annoying. I knocked it back, so I'm going to look for it down there, but I don't see it. I shoot the enemy ink because I expect it to be there. But it looked like it went up on the block. Now I'm going to super jump out of that ink storm, because otherwise I had 2 options. Either run up the ramp and the Ink Storm would have followed me and splatted me, or I could have run backwards into the entire enemy team, which would have been bad. And there I chose to duel that Swiffer, which is generally not a great idea as an E-leader within the Swiffer's range. But I already had part of my charge charged up, so I figured, and I saw that they had just shot, so I think I timed it just so that we would finish our charge about the same time, as far as I could tell, and we did end up trading. So I saw an enemy hanging on the right wall here, so I kind of stupidly went up here even though I knew he was there. I was trying to go through the Ink Storm. Better idea would have been to go off to the left and not go through the Ink Storm. Lapse of judgment there. So now we have this blaster up in our base, so I want to take him out immediately. This is going to be a big bother, as you can see. But he kind of disrespected me by standing still there, so he gave me the easy splat. So I'm going to try to cover up some of that middle area, keep him from moving around. Blaster's off to the left there. Great angle on him. So I'm just kind of shooting places where people tend to like to be, like on the side of that block. Just kind of hoping one of them would be there. Lightning Crush just got a nice double kill there. So now I'm gonna get on tower. I think there was one person off to the right. Looks like T took care of him. Nice line of ink for me to take. So I'm gonna freeze the tower there because I have the sprinkler to the right, someone in front, and then someone else on the flat, which isn't great to be able to wear yourself on the tower as an E-leader. So we're just gonna try to keep the tower there while you run away from the blaster again. Let's put an ink line around the corner. That's important to actually go around the corner first, unlike that Tri-Slusher earlier. So now we have double Ink Storm again, so clearing off the flat area. Tower went down, so we'll take over. Now I want to try to duel this Swiffer who's aiming at my ally, which is very important because my ally didn't die, so we were able to get that Inkjet off. So we could keep the tower long enough to win. So that's it for this month. Hopefully I'll get some more interesting E-Leader games for next month. Hopefully you learned something. See you next time.